Welcome to my channel, The Three Mountains. Today I would like to speak about the moon. We are going to analyze this question of the moon. Here I am in the astral with Master Samael, and he's pointing at the moon, and he says to me that the moon exerts a lot of power on all of humanity. Yeah? So we are going to talk about the moon because we need to make a differentiation between the dark moon, which Master Samael speaks about, and the psychological moon inside us that we need to create. So let's go and start with it. First of all, I took this teaching from one of his lectures, and I would like you to learn about it because it's very, very interesting. Master Samael talks about grades of liberation as we go along the path, yes, that we can achieve along the path. He starts the lecture by saying that without the sexual copula, that is to say alchemy, nothing can be achieved along the path. First of all, he says that there is the need to stop being robots. How can this be achieved? We must become independent from the forces of the moon. Again, I point out that there are two moons. One is the dark moon, and the other one is the psychological moon that we need to create. Yes? So, hang on, and you will understand the process. The moon is entirely mechanicist. All the movements from nature are mechanical. So nature is like a big clock with a heavy weight or pendulum, and that is the moon. And as it moves, doing the ding and the dong, everything works around the moon. Yes? Now, let us continue. The mechanical robot or intellectual humanoid or rational mammal is governed by the laws of the moon, and this is called the Law of Reoccurrence. So according to this law, everything gets repeated. The tides of the seas, the menstruation in women, reproduction processes, etc. All this gets repeated incessantly. Now, he points out that the law of reoccurrence is lunar. As long as one does not free himself or herself from the moon, he or she will continue being a mechanical robot. In order to become free from the moon, we're talking about the dark moon, one has to create inside oneself a psychological moon. So we need to create the white moon inside us. In this way, we will stop being dependent on the external moon, on the forces and the power, of the external moon. And we will only depend on the internal moon that we have created. This will give us inside us a conscious center of gravity if you create the psychological moon inside you. And this center of gravity built inside us will free us from the forces of the external moon. Now, let us continue. We go back to this, our old friend, the devil. I'm not here today to describe the meaning of the devil. You can watch my previous video. But I would like you to observe him and try to see the message that he is giving you. He's saying to you, solve et coagula, and that means do the alchemy. For what? For transforming the dark moon into the white moon or the psychological moon. He's saying create inside you a psychological moon. So now you understand why I brought our old friend here, the devil, for you to understand the work that you have to do. Yes, let's move forward. How can we create a conscious center of gravity? We must eliminate from our nature the heavy psychological elements of the external moon from our interior. the infrahuman egos that belong to the 96 laws. Which are they? For example, hatred is very heavy inside a person. Selfishness, pride, arrogance, jealousy, greed, wrath, self-importance. If these heavy elements get disintegrated with alchemy, then a psychological moon will be created in us. And this internal moon becomes our conscious center of gravity from then on. So we become independent from the satellite moon. That is the reason why we must descend to the ninth sphere by doing alchemy to disintegrate these heavy psychological elements or egos that we all carry in our interior. So this was taken from a public lecture given by Samael, Master Samael. Now, when he speaks about the ninth sphere, I'm going to show you now the ninth sphere. I show you this in a previous video, the hells or inferior dimensions, and I did tell you that there are 9 inferior dimensions, right? And each inferior dimension has its own laws. We are here on the top one, but the egos that we carry, if we want to liberate ourselves from the moon, here are the elements, the egos that belong to the 96 laws, right? So I'm going to tell you that where are these inferior dimensions? Well, when you start doing alchemy, the process is that with your astral body you descend to these inferior dimensions. Yes, that is the way that it is in order to work with the ego. Yes, every time you do alchemy, you will be descending with your astral body into these inferior dimensions. What happens in the physical world? In the physical world, your environment will become more and more dense. Yes, and more tight and problems. Why? Because only by descending into the inferior dimensions, the egos will come up, and that gives you the chance to kill them, right? Now let's change this. I also gave you this picture a long time ago, and I did tell you that we don't do the will of God on earth as it is in heaven. We follow our egos instead. Yes. Why? What do we have? The ego is in all our machine. We have the egos are in our minds. Yes, we have the chattering mind full of egos, in our heart, negative feelings, in our sexual center. And yes, we are just machines controlled by the egos, right? And now I'm going to show you the last picture. I also give you this. And I have to tell you that the ego controls the 5 cylinders of the human machine. Yes, the egos process themselves in the mind. Yes, with negative thoughts, chattering mind. The ego is in our hearts with strong feelings of anger, envy, revenge, pride, etc. Also in the instinctive center, in the sexual center with passion, lust, and in the motor center, which becomes, very active. We can't be calm and sit, calm and control our own bodies. That's why Master Samael says that we are robots, machines, yes, with no conscience. And that's why he emphasizes the fact that we need to create the psychological moon inside us, and then we will have a conscious center of gravity inside us. Yes. I only want to say the last thing is that here I am only showing you the 5 centers of the human machine, but there are 2 more that are important, and they are the superior intellectual and the superior emotional centers. We will talk about them in another video. Thanks for watching.